My dudes, my guys, my freaking boys, we are lucky enough to be partnered up with Evil Energy for this video. They sent me a ton of stuff so we can do some work on the CRX. Let's just dive right into this. What did I get? What's going on? What are we working on today? All this stuff. So, Evil Energy contacted me and said that they wanted me to try some of their stuff out. So, got a few things. We're going to go ahead and make a catch can for the CRX. It needs one. I don't know if this is going to be a permanent catch can setup or not. I'm still debating on whether I want to run a vacuum pump later on down the road, but that's for a whole nother video. Very excited to work with these fellas. I have used a bunch of their stuff before, specifically the V-bands for like exhaust stuff and stuff like that. So I'm excited to try out some of their hoses. I know that one of my buddies, James, has all of his AN stuff is Evil Energy stuff, and it's working out great for him. But enough of that. Let's dive in and see what we got. So the first thing, I'm very excited about this. It is a AN wrench. If you guys don't have these, you are missing out. I'm very, very, very excited to try that out for this video. I always use adjustables, and they just like butcher the fittings. So that will be cool. We got a 90-degree 8 AN. This is going to hook up to the catch can. We got a straight 10 AN. This is going to be, I guess, all the stuff for the catch can. And then a 90-degree. I messed up on this one and ordered the wrong kind. This is for a PTFE hose. That was my fault. But I think I have one of these or another 10 in my toolbox. And then we went ahead and got 10 foot of AN10 line and 10 foot of 8 AN line. So it should be enough to do what we're trying to do today. So once again, thank you, Evil Energy. Super appreciate y'all. If y'all are watching this, very interested in the little Vangean clamps that you guys have for intercooler piping. Maybe when I do a different manifold on the wagon, we can figure something out there. Now, the big decision that I have here is where to put this thing. Right now, everything's kind of empty. I'm going to be doing chassis work, like cage work and stuff like that here, hopefully semi in the near future. I would like to run it like either here or here, but I think I'm going to have tubes in both of those areas later on down the road. So I think for now what we'll do is we'll just build something to sit in here. We'll have plenty of room. We can come out to these bolts. There's bolts or holes there. There's holes here. There's holes all over the place right there for factory stuff. So I'm thinking if I can build something to fit right there, that'll work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this off, drill it out bigger. I'll weld the 10 up here and it'll come out. And then I have the water pump delete kit, and this is a 8 right here. So what I'll do is I'll run this 8 over and up into the catch can. So that's a game plan. Let's figure out what we're going to do and start mocking up a catch can. So something to think about when I'm doing this is that I'm going to be doing a different master cylinder in here, so I'll have more room back. And, you know, I'm going to have, this is roughly mounted. This isn't the one that's going here, but this is roughly mounted where I want to put the fuel lines and stuff like that. So I'm going to have a fuel line running through here, and then I'm going to have tube work up here. So I need to really keep everything down below here. And then when I put a filter on it, it can't be higher than like wherever I'm going to put here, right? So let's try to figure out what we can do here. So I'd like to utilize this bolt hole right here. And then I think all the other ones are in the back, but I can still have it overhang that a little bit. So what if we did like a 7 by 3 3/4 by 4. So 7 3 3/4 by 4. And unfortunately, I don't have like a bend or a break, so I'm gonna have to make each one of these walls individually, and then like weld it all together. Ideally, in the perfect world, you'd be able to make this as 2 separate pieces and then just weld around. This is not the perfect world, so I'm gonna go ahead and draw this stuff out now and then start getting it cut, and then I'll update you guys after all the pieces are cut. Now we got all our pieces cut, we can take our deburring tool here, clean up all the edges so it's not scratching everything, and then start tack welding this thing together and see if it fits kind of how we want or if we need to modify something. I had to do a hat swap. Forgot I was wearing my good hat there for a minute, my ATW hat. Shout out Neil, shout out Against the Wind. We're gonna go ahead and start tacking all of our pieces together now. Start with these two. And what I would like to do is, because I definitely cut these, not the straightest in the world, is it'd be really cool if I could do this and like make one side look good. If one side will look good, we will have something going on. All right, so we have our rough catch can made up here. Debating if I should go ahead and weld this fully or not, but I guess let's test fit it in the car. We should probably do that first. So ideally you would want this catch can up higher than the valve cover, like the same height as the valve cover. Unfortunately, I have to cut all this out of my hood to be able to run a hood. So I don't have that luxury. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to stuff this thing like right here. That way when I run filters and stuff on it, you can see the strut tower, how high it is. It'll be good. Might be able to get it like up there a little bit, but we're gonna aim for that. So I guess this will fit. It's not interfering in anything down there. It's not hitting the master cylinder. Like I said, it's gonna get changed out anyway. So let's go ahead, weld this up, and then can go ahead and I guess put some bungs on it, dude. That was surprisingly fast. While I was waiting for this thing to cool off, I went ahead, drilled a hole in it, got a thing made for the filter to mount to. So I'm gonna go ahead, zip that bad boy on. All right, while we wait for this to cool off, I just like to say thank you guys. 2024 has been crazy. I'm sure I'll make some other videos after this, but in 2025, I'm gonna try to get you guys as many discount codes and stuff like that as I can. Speaking of discount codes, Evil Energy is giving us a 10% off code. I'll put it right here. Hopefully that helps some of y'all out. I know it helps me out a lot. So yeah, I'm gonna try to get some more stuff like that for you guys next year, and hopefully we can just continue to grow this. I super appreciate you guys for watching, Evil Energy for helping out and all that stuff. Thanks. I was going to put this thing in this way, and I got thinking about it, the cage work I'm gonna do, that's gonna be in the way. So I'm gonna have to run it this way. Now, how do we mount this thing? Because there's no mounts in the back for anything. But I think I'm gonna use that hole right there, and then I'm gonna build another mount off of this guy right here. And that should help hold us. Realistically, this thing shouldn't be getting full. So it'll have a drain in it. It shouldn't get too heavy or anything like that. So this is basically just made for the block to breathe, to not build up a bunch of crankcase pressure. So realistically, I think we'll be fine. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna make those mounts, and then we can start making AN lines. Well, I guess I gotta weld the fittings on, and then we can start making AN lines. I got this all mounted up. For real, I think it might just be okay with just that one mount. If I have to, after we get all this other stuff done, I'll add another one right here. But I mean, it's in there. Also, one bolt makes it nice because if you got to yank the motor or something, it's in the way. It's just a 19. It pops off. Good to go. Easy peasy. So might keep that like that. Maybe will, maybe won't. Let's see. We can go ahead and start figuring out how we're gonna route our AN lines and stuff like that, and then go ahead and get that stuff welded in. So what I'm thinking is we're gonna cut this off, drill that out bigger, and then if I put this right here, we should be able to make that work. I think. I have a straight fitting from there, which I guess a 45 would be more ideal, but I mean, we're just welding the thing on it for right now, so yeah. So I think if I put that there, that should work. And then my 8AN is right here. It's gonna have to come around, and it's gonna have to turn and go this way. I need to keep it away from the shifter. This is what makes you go into gear. All this stuff moves here, so I gotta keep it away from that. And other than that, there's nothing really in the way down here. This is gonna get cut off and be different. It's gonna go back that way. This temp sensor is just there for wiring purposes. It's not actually living there. So what I'm thinking is, I might put this one like this. And that way it can come out and go around like it needs to. So let's get this 8AN thrown up there, and then we can go ahead and make that hose and then figure out what to do for the 10. I guess I'll weld this in here, and get that good. And then I'll take the valve cover off and do that number stuff. And then we just got to figure out making the lines. Got the fittings on our catch can. Now all we got to do is make the lines. This is the whole part of the video. Finally, we're here. So what I'm going to do, what I normally like to do is I will install one side and then kind of route it where I need to do it and then mark it. That way I know it's the correct length. There's ways to measure and all that stuff. I ordered the wrong thing for this. I messed up, that was my bad. I'm going to try to make this line for the video, but realistically, I'm gonna use my 10% off code and order a 45 for this from Evil Energy because I messed up. That was my bad, guys, sorry. All right, let's go ahead, get one of these installed, and then we could go ahead and make our Dash 8 line real quick. Everybody kind of has their own way of making these. Grab the 8 AN right here. The way I do it might be different than the way you do it. It might be the way different than somebody taught you how to do it. This is just how I do it, and I know it works for me. So I already took one of the caps off. You can see how the ends are frayed. What we're gonna do is we're gonna clean that up. So we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put painter's tape around it and cut it. When you run your painter's tape around here, you wanna be sure that it's tight against the AN line, about as tight as you can get it realistically, because you're gonna want it to be super smooth. Go ahead and rip it. You guys can kind of see what I'm doing here. So I'm pulling it down as I'm pulling it around. So that way it stays on there super tight. All right, just like that. Nice and tight around there. And then I'm gonna go ahead and take a cutoff wheel. Some people cut it with other stuff. I'm gonna cut this with a cutoff wheel because it's steel braided. And then you try to cut it in as straight of a line as you physically can. All right, you're cut. Oh, of course I mess it up right there at the end. That's okay. If you got any little stragglers, take your pocket knife, any of the braided stuff, trim that up. All right, now we can go ahead and throw our fitting on this. Now I'm gonna have to take the tape off to get a good mating surface for all this, like so. And then go ahead and slide this guy on there. This is where it gets tricky because you don't want a bunch of hairs sticking out. You just push it on there as far as it'll go. I can feel it's bottoming out. It's got like a little lip in there, so you want to feel it till it bottoms out. Then take your other side and it goes in just like this. I like to hold it like this. You kind of want to make sure that it's not pushing the hose out of the fitting, because what this is doing is it's flaring, it's squeezing the rubber against the sides of this so that it can't leak. Now it's going to get tight. We're going to take our new tool we just got from Evil Energy and put it on here and run around like that, all the way tight. Now that we have our line all made, I'm going to go ahead, put it back in its home over here, unravel some of this out until it meets up with right here, and then I'll know where to cut it. So then I'll tape it, same process, tape, cut, and be good to go. All right, we have our Dash 8 AN line built with both of our fittings on it. Go ahead and install this, repeat the process for the Dash 10. And I will say these things, I'm not just saying it because like they're helping me out with this video, but these things are actually really nice. They slide, sometimes they're a pain to get to slide onto here, a lot of other brands, but if you use their line and their fittings, they slide on there pretty easy. I was kind of surprised. All right, y'all, there we have it. Got our little catch can setup made with our AN lines. Like I said, I am gonna go and order a the 45 off the Evil Energy site like right now, actually, because that's gonna drive me insane. But if it came out at a 45, it'd be money. But this line looks really good. I'm really happy with that. Like I said, this is all gonna be changed. All that stuff's gonna be going in the back because I got a rear mounted radiator. But thank you, Evil Energy. I super appreciate you guys. Hope we can work together more in the future. Everybody that's watching, just one more time, here's the discount code right here. I'll also put it in the description. Thank y'all for watching. I'll see y'all later. Peace.